The next chord we're going to learn is the open D major chord. Now this one here I think totally looks like a capital D. Can you see that? To play this one, we're going to take our first finger, put it in the second fret on the G string. Then we're going to take our second finger, put it in the second fret as well on the high E string. Then we're going to take our third finger and put it in the third fret on the B string. And it's a D type chord, so we're going to strum from the open D string. And our other little memory hook, we're going to strum from the open string that is above whichever finger's doing something first. In this case, it's the first finger that's doing something first. So we strum from the open D string. Here's another way to help you remember that shape. We're going to start by putting 2 fingers in the second fret. 2 fingers in the second fret. Then we're going to put our third finger in the third fret. That's another little way that I find helpful of remembering the open D major shape chord. This is an example of a chord where we can actually have really good fretting position. Sometimes when people start playing it, what they will do is have their hand in this type of position where your first finger's too far back in the fret. But this is an example of a chord where we can actually have really excellent fretting position. So as we're playing this D chord, try and rotate your hand a little bit so you get that first finger lined up on top of the second finger. And that gives us a bit of extra reach to have perfect fretting position with our third finger as well. Now, something that students often struggle with when they start with this chord is the idea that we're only strumming these 4 strings. They're thinking, all right, I've only got to play these 4 strings. So when they start strumming, they're like trying to be really careful about only strumming these 4. Yes, we only want to play these 4 strings, but when we start strumming it, do not worry about whether or not you're hitting these low ones. Try not to, but don't worry about it, because what's more important than us trying to just strum the strings that we're supposed to for the chord is us developing a good strumming arm, which we will talk about later. And if we're obsessed about just trying to play these notes, we're not going to develop a good strumming arm. So it's better that we get the technique for strumming correct and refine it later to get a better sounding chord than have a completely wrong strumming technique that we're just going to have to fix later. This is a good example of having to understand what it is that we're trying to do. We understand good technique, and then we realize that when it comes to strumming it, it's okay if we play it a bit rough because we're going to refine that technique later as we build accuracy. What we don't want to do is compromise our technique in order to try have a good sounding chord right now, because that doesn't pay off in the long term. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the lesson. This one is part of a series of lessons that I produced while working on the content for our new beginner guitar course. If you're starting out on guitar, head along to guitarnutrition.com and check that out. And if you want a free Zoom lesson, go over to the website, guitarnutrition.com, and sign up for the newsletter.